Funny thing, isn't it? People only start paying attention when the universe raises its voice. Not a gentle whisper, not a friendly little nudge. No, it takes a shake, a crack in the comfortable silence. A feeling that something bigger than your excuses has finally lost its patience. Everyone walks around pretending they can't hear it. The tug in the chest, the shift in the air, that uneasy little knot in the stomach saying, "Wake up before life does it for you." But ignorance is such a cozy blanket, isn't it? Warm, soft, but perfectly wrapped around every fear. You don't want to face people, only change when life stops whispering and starts shaking them. Isn't that funny? Everyone loves gentle advice, soft voices, calm books about improvement, until reality grabs them by the throat. You'd think all these motivational quotes pasted on wallpapers would turn humanity into unstoppable warriors, right? Yet most people treat them like background music, pleasant noise they never dance to. Because as long as life whispers, they nod, they smile, they pretend they understand. But oh, when life decides it's tired of being polite, when it stops tapping your shoulder and gives you a hard shove, suddenly you wake up. You see, the world doesn't reward daydreamers who wait for perfect timing. No, it toys with them. It watches them scroll, binge, hope, plan, delay, and then snap, a crisis comes. A job gone, a heart broken, a door slammed shut, regret cackling in the corner, pointing a finger like, you thought you had time. How adorable. Humans only pray when pain arrives. They only hustle when bills whisper threats. They only look in the mirror when failure starts breathing down their neck. That's the comedy. Everyone wants to evolve, but no one wants to feel the squeeze that forces evolution. Whispers are gentle. Whispers are suggestions. Whispers are ignored. But when life screams, oh, suddenly everyone listens. Because the truth isn't soft. The truth doesn't hug you. The truth barges in like an uninvited guest and flips the table. You say you want success, but you sleep like you're already rich. You say you want respect, but you speak like you don't matter. You say you want change, but you cling to comfort like a child clutching a blanket in the dark. And then you're surprised when nothing happens for you. Surprised. Really, fear is a master teacher. Pain is the curriculum. Loss, the graduation ceremony. Some people need to lose everything before they finally move. Some need betrayal to value loyalty. Some need embarrassment to find discipline. The quiet nudge never works for them. They only learn when life slaps the excuses out of their mouth. Tragic, maybe. But oh, so predictable. Look around. Everyone claims they're waiting for a sign, waiting for clarity, confidence, inspiration, as if destiny is a polite butler who knocks before entering. It's not. Destiny kicks the door down. But until then, people sit hands folded, scrolling, hoping that someday motivation will politely introduce itself. Hi there, I'm motivation. Mind if I change your life today? No. Motivation is chaos, disruption, discomfort. It arrives disguised as problems, not miracles. Some people don't move until anxiety suffocates them. They don't save money until debt laughs in their face. They don't exercise until doctors shake their heads. They don't chase dreams until life corners them and whispers its final threat: change or drown. And then suddenly, after years of ignoring gentle nudges, they sprint. Not because they love progress, but because stagnation finally hurts more than effort. That's the secret. People don't change for desire, they change for survival. And isn't it fascinating? Everyone says they want greatness, but they run from pressure like it's a monster under the bed. Yet pressure is the only sculptor that knows how to carve diamonds out of coal. What you call pain, life calls chiseling. What you call unfair, life calls training. But humans love to cry unfair. They love to feel picked on by fate, because it's easier to blame existence than confront laziness. It's easier to say, life is hard, than admit, I am soft, so life waits. Patient at first. It gives chances, gentle reminders, opportunities disguised as challenges. But when those are ignored long enough, the shaking begins. A crisis hits. A storm rolls in. Suddenly the clock ticks louder, the days feel shorter, the mirrors get sharper. And the very lesson you ignored becomes the very blow that wakes you up. That's the punchline. Life does not punish you. It prepares you. You just keep mistaking discipline for suffering and warning signs for threats instead of invitations. And then you act surprised when the whisper becomes a roar. You ever notice how people cling to excuses like their life rafts in an ocean they jumped into themselves? I don't have time. I don't have resources. I don't have support. Someday. Ah yes, someday. The favorite holiday of the lazy, the festival of almost winners. They polish their excuses like trophies. Hold them up proudly. Show them off like precious jewels. Because excuses feel comfortable, and comfort is a delicious poison. Slow enough not to alarm you, sweet enough to keep sipping, deadly enough to kill potential with a smile. Everyone loves dreaming of a miracle. That magical moment when life suddenly gets easier. When money drops from the sky. When motivation wakes them up like a loyal servant with breakfast in bed. When confidence knocks politely and says, "Excuse me, may I enter your brain today?" But miracles aren't earned through hoping. They're summoned by pain, persistence, and the ugly grind you're terrified of. Yet most people, they'd rather light a candle and wait. Wait for fate to feel generous. Wait for luck to stumble into their living room. Wait for greatness to feel merciful. Meanwhile, time doesn't wait. It eats. Quietly, patiently, cruelly. Excuses are funny little things, aren't they? Soft cushions for the weak, cages wrapped in velvet. They wrap themselves in excuses instead of effort, and then cry when life wraps them in regret. They say they can't start because they're scared they'll fail. Oh no, dear. You don't fear failure. You fear responsibility. You fear looking in the mirror and realizing the villain wasn't fate, wasn't society, wasn't your past, wasn't your parents, wasn't your circumstances. It was you. That realization stings more than failure ever could. So you keep dancing with excuses like they're loyal lovers. And the world loves it. It sells you distractions dressed as dreams, entertainment disguised as inspiration, noise disguised as knowledge. You scroll, You watch, you admire others, thinking that admiration counts as progress. You drown in motivation videos, like someone watching workout routines while eating cake. One day I'll change, you whisper. Yes, one day. The greatest lie ever spoken by humans, still trying to convince themselves they have unlimited tomorrows. People admire warriors but live like spectators. They love stories of struggle and triumph. Oh, they adore those. But only as long as they don't have to touch pain themselves. They want the reward without the sacrifice, the victory without the wounds, the crown without the blood. But crowns are forged in fire, not wishes. And life has a twisted sense of humor. You don't get what you want. You get what you work for, bleed for, break for. And if you refuse, then life hands you something else: regret, wrapped carefully, delivered slowly, felt deeply. Excuses whisper so seductively, don't they? Not today. You're tired. You'll start next week. Things will get better first. It sounds so reasonable, so gentle. The perfect lullaby to rock your ambition to sleep. Meanwhile, someone out there, someone with less time, less support, less talent, less money, less comfort, they're doing the thing you swore you'd do. And one day they'll stand on the stage you dreamed of, and you'll clap, pretending to be happy, while your heart cracks like glass under truth. And the excuse you fed for years will turn to poison in your throat. People want miracles, but they refuse to become the miracle. They pray for doors to open, but spend their days with hands in their pockets. They beg for a lucky break, not realizing luck only visits those already bleeding for their goals. People think pain is punishment. Oh no, pain is a conversation, a warning, a teacher. But excuses tell you pain is unfair, that effort is unnecessary, that destiny owes you something. Destiny owes nothing. Life owes nothing. You want meaning? You carve it. You want power? You build it. You want the miracle. You become the kind of creature that forces miracles to appear. But that's the tragedy. People aren't weak, they're comfortable. They aren't lost, they're pretending. And comfort is the silent killer. No alarms, no screams, no warnings. Just a slow, quiet decay of dreams while you hum lullabies of excuses, waiting for a miracle that was always waiting for you instead. Isn't it amusing how people flinch when life raises its voice? Oh, they adore gentle whispers, soft nudges, polite reminders. Take your time. You'll get there. Go easy on yourself. They drink that like warm milk before bed. But the moment reality slams a fist on the table, suddenly, everyone becomes fragile glass, trembling, offended, shocked. As if the universe owes them lullabies instead of lessons. As if growth is supposed to feel like a hug instead of a slap. You see, warnings only sound harsh to people who've been hiding from truth so long. They forgot what honesty feels like. They don't fear the warning. They fear what it reveals about them. People love living in comfortable illusions, you know. Those little fantasies they tuck themselves into at night. I'll get my life together soon. I'm trying my best. I just need a sign. But they don't want signs. No. They want reassurance. They don't want truth. They want permission to stay the same. That's why when life finally screams, MOV, they cover their ears and cry that it's unfair, too loud, too intense. A warning isn't cruel. It's mercy wearing urgency like armor. But comfort addicts don't see mercy. They only see disturbance. Real truth doesn't come gently. It doesn't knock like a polite guest. It barges in like a storm, tearing doors off hinges. It wakes you up the way lightning wakes a sleeping city. Fast, bright, with no apology. And people hate that kind of awakening. They'd rather keep dreaming. Dreams are safe. Reality. Reality bites, scratches, shakes. It demands action. It mocks procrastination. It rips excuses out of your hands and forces you to look at your own reflection without filters, without soft lighting, without a script. You ever watch someone realize they've been wasting years? It's almost tragic, almost funny, like watching someone wake up and realize the villain in their life wasn't bad luck. It was them. Warnings feel harsh only to those who hoped life would wait for them. They treat time like a patient servant instead of the relentless beast it is. Time doesn't negotiate. Time doesn't soothe. Time doesn't care about your emotions, your excuses, your fragile pride. Time simply counts. And when it gets impatient, it sends warnings, sometimes gentle, sometimes seismic. But fragile minds call it punishment. The bold call it invitation. The broken call it doom. The awake call it transformation. Funny how the same alarm clock can either annoy you or save you, depending on whether you were meant to wake up. People say they want truth, but truth demands sacrifice. Truth demands accountability. Truth demands you stop blaming the weather, your childhood, the economy, your friends, fate, karma, alignment of stars, and every other convenient ghost you hide behind. Truth demands you step into the arena. And most people would rather sit in the audience eating popcorn, critiquing those who bleed for their dreams. They fear failure, but they fear responsibility more. A warning strips away the luxury of blaming others. It forces you to choose change or be changed by consequences. Oh, and consequences never whisper. They roar. So when life shouts, when the universe smacks your complacency, when reality throws cold water in your face and laughs while you sputter, that isn't cruelty. That's opportunity dressed like chaos. That's destiny kicking your chair out so you finally stand. That's mercy disguised as urgency. But to the unprepared, to the ones holding their dreams with weak fingers and soft spine, it feels like attack. They don't hate the warning. They hate the mirror that comes with it. Because warnings don't just say, act now. They say, you knew better and still waited. And nothing hurts quite like being confronted by your own delay. Imagine someone drowning, but complaining that the lifeguard grabbed them too roughly. That's what humans do with truth. They'd rather drown politely than be saved unpleasantly. They protect comfort like it's treasure, not realizing it's the silent thief stealing their life bit by bit. So life raises its voice. It shakes the ground. It rattles bones. And those who are ready, oh, they rise. But those who were clinging to softness pretend the warning was violence instead of rescue. You don't lose to life. You lose to your denial of it. And warnings are not threats. They are invitations to stop pretending and start waking up pain. People treat it like some cruel cosmic curse, a punishment, a sign they've been abandoned or singled out for torment. They look up and ask, "Why me?" As if discomfort is injustice, as if the world owes them a painless journey. Pain scares them more than failure, more than truth, more than silence. Because pain doesn't lie. Pain doesn't sugarcoat. Pain arrives uninvited, unapologetic, and brutally honest. Most folks don't hate pain. They hate what pain exposes: weakness, stagnation, self-deception. They want progress without pressure, lessons without bruises, growth without scar tissue. But pain isn't here to hurt you for fun. It's here because you slammed the door on change and pretended you couldn't hear the knocking. You ever notice how people ignore gentle signs? The little warnings, the whispers that say, "Wake up, fix this move, evolve." They pretend they don't hear. They pretend life will be patient. They lull themselves into this cozy fog where time stretches forever and consequences travel slowly. Then, when pain kicks down the door, they cry betrayal. Funny, isn't it? They ignore whispers and then complain about screams. Pain isn't punishment, it's escalation. When life taps, you shrug. When life nudges, you delay. When life whispers, you close your eyes. So eventually life stops asking nicely. It doesn't hate you. It's trying to shake you awake. Comfort. Ah, comfort is the real villain dressed as a friend. It feeds you softness, convinces you you're safe, tells you there's no urgency, no rush. It wraps you in warm blankets while your dreams rot quietly in the corners of your mind. Pain arrives not to destroy you, but to rip those blankets off and remind you the world is still moving, with or without you. Pain is a siren, an alarm clock, a spotlight, a hammer breaking the shell you built around yourself. But people cling to comfort like it's treasure, not realizing it's a coffin. They'd rather sleep peacefully in stagnation than wake up violently into transformation. And so pain must raise its voice. It must rattle. It must burn. Otherwise, nothing changes. Look at anyone who built themselves, truly built themselves, and you'll find a trail of pain behind them. Broken moments, shattered illusions, lost comfort, torn ego, not because they were cursed, but because they listened when life pushed instead of waiting until it shoved. Meanwhile, others sit on cold floors, hugging their excuses like stuffed toys, whispering, "I'm suffering because life is unfair." No, you're suffering because life is calling you forward, and you're clinging to backwards. Pain isn't punishment. Pain is forceful guidance. It's the universe kicking you out of chapters you've overstayed in. But most don't see it. They treat every shake as collapse instead of construction. People say they want to change. Oh yes, they chant about growth like it's a religion. But when life hands them the tools, discomfort, struggle, challenge, they drop them and cry they were attacked. They want transformation without friction, evolution without discomfort. They want to shed old skin without feeling it peel. So they hide from pain as if hiding has ever saved anyone. Pain knocks louder and louder, and they cover their ears, hoping ignorance gives immunity. But ignoring fire doesn't stop the burning. Ignoring hunger doesn't fill the stomach. And ignoring purpose doesn't fulfill destiny. Pain is the doorway, and most people choose to sit outside complaining about the cold instead of walking through the heat. You ever see someone look back on life and suddenly realize pain was the turning point, not the tragedy? In the moment, pain feels hostile. Later, pain looks holy, but humans are impatient creatures. They demand comfort now and growth later. Meanwhile, pain plays the long game. It arrives not to break bones, but to break illusions. It wants you empty of excuses, stripped of lies, raw enough to rebuild. Pain isn't the enemy, stagnation is. But stagnation feels gentle, so people trust it. Pain feels violent, so they fear it. And because they fear it, they misread it. They fight the force trying to free them and defend the chains strangling them. Marvelous irony, some knock politely, some yell, some smash walls. The universe is the last type. If you refuse to move, it moves you. If you refuse to grow, it stretches you. If you refuse to listen, it roars until your inner silence cracks. And the funny thing, once people finally rise, once they walk through the heat they avoided, once they survive what they swore would kill them, suddenly the pain looks different. Not punishment, not cruelty, but initiation. A necessary fire that burns illusions so only truth remains. But most don't see that yet. When the knocking starts, they panic. They hide. They run. They call it suffering instead of summoning. They call it being cursed when it's really being chosen to wake up. You ever watch someone tuck themselves into the grave of their own potential? Not with tragedy, not with catastrophe, no, with comfort. With soft little phrases like, "I'll do it tomorrow," "I'm not ready yet," "It's not the right time." They murmur these sweet excuses like bedtime songs and drift off, peacefully ignorant, while their dreams suffocate quietly in the dark corners of their mind. People don't fail spectacularly. They fade. They drift into mediocrity, like someone slowly falling asleep at the wheel. And by the time they crash, they pretend they never saw it coming. Excuses don't break people. They lull them. They soothe them into ruin. Funny thing, excuses don't scream, they whisper. Oh, they're gentle, comforting, like warm blankets and soft pillows. You don't notice them tightening around your neck until breathing is a memory. They promise safety, promise patience, promise that you can wait without consequences. You need rest. You deserve a break. Life is overwhelming. It all sounds nurturing, like a mother tucking in a child. But sometimes the softest hands are the most dangerous, because they don't shock you into waking up. They numb you into sleeping through your own life. People aren't lazy, they're seduced. Seduced by the illusion that time is loyal. That tomorrow will always come with open arms everyone loves, calling themselves dreamers. But a dream without action is just a hallucination dressed in hope. And excuses are the lullabies that make hallucinations feel like plans. They whisper, "You're on your way," when you haven't even taken a step. They make you feel busy, while you're standing still. Ever notice how people adore planning, talking, imagining? But when it comes to doing, suddenly they need motivation. Clarity, a sign, perfect timing, emotional alignment, planetary permission. They want the universe to roll out a red carpet before they make a move. When truth is, the universe only applauds after you bleed for something. Look closely at anyone stuck in the same place for years. Same dreams, same complaints, same sighs about someday. They didn't get trapped. They got rocked to sleep by comforting lies. You have time. The dead believe that too. Someone will notice your talent. Oh yes. The world is famous for rewarding silent potential, isn't it? You're doing your best. Are you? Or are you just avoiding discomfort and calling it strategy? Excuses don't let you rot instantly. That would be merciful. They stretch it out, make it gentle, make you feel calm as the colors drain from your future. A slow, painless death of ambition in society. Oh, society loves excuses. It feeds them like candy, tells you to take it easy, tells you hustle is toxic, tells you pressure is harmful, tells you ambition is unhealthy, tells you to prioritize comfort above purpose. They call it self-care, but sometimes self-care is self-sabotage, wearing a robe and sipping herbal tea. Comfort culture makes cowards feel wise, makes stagnation feel like balance. Meanwhile, life isn't waiting. Opportunities aren't waiting. Growth isn't waiting, but people. They're asleep, humming lullabies to their dreams, believing they'll wake up successful simply because they meant well and then. Oh, the heartbreak. The glorious moment when time finally pulls the blanket off and reality slaps. Suddenly, they look around and panic. What happened? What happened? You sang yourself to sleep. You listened to excuses instead of urgency. You cuddled comfort while your goals starved in the cold. You chose easy instead of necessary, and now you're shocked. People treat their dreams like fragile pets and then wonder why they die. Dreams don't need protection. They need pursuit. But pursuit requires friction, effort, sacrifice. And humans love romance, not struggle. They adore inspiration, not discipline. They crave results, not responsibility. Excuses feel safe because they keep you from trying. And if you don't try, you can't fail. That's the real poison. People would rather live peacefully with unrealized potential than live painfully with effort. They'd rather ask, what if, forever than risk a real answer. Excuses protect pride while destroying possibility. They're the sweetest poison. Silent, warm, soothing, and absolutely lethal to any future worth having. And every time someone hits a wall, every time they feel stuck, they think they need motivation. Funny, motivation is a spark, but excuses are anesthesia. They don't light you up. They numb you. They convince you effort is optional, discipline is harsh, urgency is dramatic. They rock you gently while life passes by the window, waving politely as it leaves you behind. You don't lose your dream in one blow. You lose it night after night, tucked in by excuses, singing lullabies, made of fear, wearing comfort's perfume. Tick, tock. Funny how a clock can suddenly feel like a heartbeat when time starts running out. 21 minutes. That's all. Feels small, doesn't it? Just a sip of time. But when someone whispers that the next 21 minutes hold something that might break you, then every second gets heavier. People start breathing differently, eyes darting, mind racing. Not because the news is here yet. No, fear is never in the moment things happen. Fear lives in the waiting. You know what's fascinating about fear? It never waits for reality to show up. Oh no. Fear likes to arrive early, like an eager guest with messy shoes, stomping across your mind before anything has even happened. The truth could be calm, quiet, even harmless. But fear doesn't care about truth. Fear cares about imagination. It takes a tiny whisper of uncertainty and turns it into a roaring orchestra in your skull. One rumor, one hint, one countdown, and suddenly the mind becomes a haunted house where every shadow looks like doom wearing your name. Fear grows louder not when danger hits, but right before it. Because fear isn't fueled by reality. It's fueled by what your mind thinks reality will be. People don't panic because they know the truth. They panic because they don't. It's the space right before the reveal where humans start shaking. That quiet stretch of time when you know something is coming, but you don't know whether it will hug you or destroy you. That's where fear feasts. In uncertainty, in silence, in the seconds before the curtain lifts. The truth doesn't break most people. The suspense does. The mind starts spinning stories, and oh, it spins them beautifully, doesn't it? Drama, tragedy, chaos. Worst case scenarios stacked like dominoes ready to fall with the tiniest breath. You don't even need a threat. Just the idea that something big is coming. And watch how quickly the heart beats, like it owes the world every drop of blood left in it. The funniest part. The louder fear grows, the less real it usually is. Fear is a performer. It craves attention. It thrives in imagination. Inflates itself like a balloon right before reality walks in and pokes it back to size. But before truth arrives, fear wants to be king. It whispers like poisoned silk, making you believe the floor beneath you is cracking even when it's perfectly still. It tells you you're not ready, tells you you're weak, tells you the sky is about to fall and you won't survive it. And you believe it because the unknown is a blank screen. And the mind loves to paint nightmares when it doesn't have facts to cling to. People think bravery means facing danger. No. Bravery means facing possibility, facing silence, facing that inner storm when nothing has happened yet. But your mind is making you feel as though everything already did. When the truth arrives, at least you have something solid to fight. But before truth, you fight air. You fight ghosts. You fight your own thoughts, clawing at your ribs like they're trying to escape your chest. That's why waiting is torture. That's why countdowns are cruel. Because the enemy isn't the moment. It's the voice whispering what the moment might be. And oh, how fear loves to grow in darkness. When you sit alone, when the seconds tick slowly, when your breath gets louder than the world around you. It creeps in gently, then suddenly screams like it's always been there. Your palms sweat, your mind races. Your body braces for impact you haven't even seen. You feel the blow before it lands, sometimes before it even exists. Humans break themselves with prediction long before life ever gets a chance to try. Fear doesn't need truth to hurt you. It just needs time and silence and a tiny doubt to chew on. And it grows fangs out of nothing. You know what truly separates strong minds from fragile ones? It's not who stands tall when chaos hits. It's who stays calm before it does. Who breathes when their brain is begging them to gasp? Who sits still when fear is dancing in their skull? Who refuses to let imagination become executioner? Because anyone can hold themselves together after the truth lands, but very few can hold themselves together before it arrives. Control in calm moments is nothing. Control in anticipation, that's power, that's discipline. That's the kind of mind the world can't break easily. Fear doesn't grow louder because the truth is scary. Fear grows louder because silence gives it a stage. And most people never realize the only audience fear performs for is the one sitting behind their own eyes. Countdowns. Isn't it funny how humans treat time like a judge with a hammer, ready to slam it down the second those last seconds vanish? 21 minutes. It could be meaningless, harmless, just numbers marching one after another. But the mind doesn't see minutes. It sees doom lurking in every tick. That little beep, beep, beep of time passing suddenly becomes a threat instead of a rhythm. You don't fear the moment. You fear what happens when the moment runs out. That's the punchline. Time itself does nothing. It just sits there, neutral, bored, moving on whether you're laughing or trembling. But you give it teeth. You turn seconds into swords pointed at your own chest and hold your breath like you're waiting for the world to collapse the moment the clock blinks to zero. People worship clocks like they worship gods. They place their sanity in a set of numbers glowing on a screen. You only have this much time left. This will happen at exactly this hour. And suddenly, everything feels heavier, sharper. Why? Because humans need deadlines to feel scared. They can't stand not knowing of when the punch is coming. So when you give them a time, they cling to it like it's prophecy carved in stone. But here's the trick. The clock doesn't care about you. It isn't racing toward your doom. It's just moving, ticking, existing. You're the one sprinting in circles because someone whispered, when the timer ends, something big will happen. Oh, the imagination lights up, doesn't it? Burning like gasoline poured on a nervous mind, and as those minutes fade, the body starts doing that adorable little panic dance. Your heartbeat turns into a drummer boy who drank too much caffeine. Your lungs forget how breathing works. In, out, too fast, too slow. You start gripping things, tapping your foot, swallowing nothing like it's poison. The world feels suddenly fragile, like if you speak too loud the universe might crack. All because you decided time wasn't just passing. It was preparing for something grand, terrible, earth-shaking. Funny how the mind loves drama. It builds disasters from whispers. It turns a clock into a bomb, even when there's no fuse, no wires, no threat. Just dread dressed up as destiny. You Ever notice how the last minutes always feel louder? How you can sit through hours just fine, but the moment you get close to the end, oh, suddenly everything inside you screams. 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, 1 minute left, and now. Now every second feels like a drumbeat inside your skull. Time doesn't change pace, you do. Because anticipation is a monster that eats patience first, logic second, and sanity last. And once it starts chewing on sanity, oh, things get interesting. Every sound becomes suspicious. Every thought starts whispering warnings. Every possibility feels like a threat waiting to pounce. The real joke is that you don't even know what you're afraid of. You're scared because you decided something bad is coming. It's like waiting for a punch in a dark room that may never come, flinching before anything touches you. People like to pretend they're scared of consequences. They're actually scared of waiting, scared of that suffocating space where they know something might happen, but can't control when or how. You see, control, that's what this is all about. The moment a clock starts ticking towards something unknown, you realize you don't hold the reins. And nothing terrifies people more than being reminded they're not in charge, so they panic, pace, sweat, tear themselves apart from the inside while the world peacefully goes about its business. Imagine being broken not by what happens, but by what might happen. Humans always crumble before the event more than after it. They suffer twice. Once in imagination, once in reality, if reality even bothers showing up. The countdown isn't cruel by design. It's cruel because you fill it with expectation, fear, prophecy. You turn harmless time into a psychological execution chamber, waiting for the blade that may not even exist. Minutes don't break people. Anticipation does. The quiet before impact, whether impact is real or not. And in that quiet, minds twist, hearts race, and people become their own tormentors, while time simply keeps walking, never looking back, never flinching, never caring, just marching forward 1 second at a time. Hope. Ah, now there's a delicious little parasite. People worship it like a holy relic, polish it, cradle it, whisper to it every night before they sleep. Things will get better. Something good is coming. They cling to it like a drowning person hugging driftwood, knuckles white, breath shaking. But hope, oh, hope is a tricky creature. It doesn't stab you in the dark like fear. It doesn't scream in your ear. It just smiles, sits beside you, and promises a sunrise while quietly sharpening the knife behind its back. Because hope doesn't break you at the start. It waits. It lets you rise, let your guard down, paint your dreams on the ceiling, and then it pulls the floor out from under you. Then it laughs while you scramble for the same walls. You trusted you know what's truly funny. People think hopelessness is what destroys them. No, no, no. Absolute hopelessness is easy. It's quiet, numb, almost peaceful. You stop fighting. You stop expecting. You accept the dirt, the darkness, the end. There's no more roller coaster when the ride has already crashed. But hope keeps you strapped in, keeps the ride moving, keeps your heart climbing the hill and waiting for the drop. You think you're rising toward glory, toward light, toward some grand destiny. And then suddenly gravity reminds you it always wins. Hope isn't comfort. It's suspense-wearing perfume, and there you sit, telling yourself you're special, chosen, destined for something meaningful. Any second now, life will deliver your grand moment, your sweet reward. You tell yourself good things are coming, that struggle has purpose, that pain is just the dramatic build up. It sounds poetic in your head, doesn't it? Like someday you'll look back and say, yes, it was all worth it. But sometimes life doesn't care about your emotional arc. Sometimes you're just waiting for a train that's never scheduled to arrive. And the longer you wait, the more hope starts to taste like rust on your tongue. Wasn't it fascinating how hope feels brightest right before it breaks? That last spark, that breath before the plunge. Humans cling to it like a final heartbeat. It's when the clock is almost empty, when the room feels too quiet, when the mind whispers, maybe it'll still work out. That's when hope becomes the cruelest. Because even when everything screams, collapse, the human brain whispers possibility. It's like watching someone hold a balloon over a fire, laughing, insisting it won't pop. And when it finally does, bang, they look so shocked, so betrayed, as if the universe made a personal promise to them, and then laughed in their face. You see, hope gives pain flavor. It gives disappointment teeth. Without hope, a fall is just gravity. With hope, a fall feels like betrayal, and betrayal hurts deeper than any blade ever could. Betrayal comes from belief, from trust, from the lie you fed yourself because it felt sweeter than honesty. Hope is the sugar that coats the poison of reality. It tastes good. It keeps you smiling. It keeps you dreaming. It sets you up beautifully, like a stage with velvet curtains and golden lights. And then reality walks in, unsmiling, unbothered, kicking down the scenery while you stand there, choking on the glitter you thought was magic. But let's not pretend hope is useless. Oh no, hope keeps you alive. It keeps you moving when logic screams stop. It pulls you out of bed when despair has you pinned. That's the funny part. The same thing that saves you can hurt you. The same flame that lights your path can burn your skin. People want hope without the pain. They want belief without disappointment. They want to rise without the risk of falling. And that's adorable. Truly. Because hope always carries a shadow. It always comes with a price. You can't hope big without risking a big shatter. The brighter the dream, the sharper the shards when it breaks. So there you are, sitting with your precious little hope, rocking it like a baby, praying it grows into something real. You tell yourself you're almost there, almost chosen, almost rewarded, almost saved. And maybe you are. Or maybe you're just feeding yourself a story because the silence of uncertainty scares you more than a beautiful lie. But that's what makes hope the sweetest poison. You drink it willingly, smiling, desperate, believing the sting means you're alive. Hope never forces itself into your veins. You invite it in. You beg for it. And sometimes, just sometimes, it loves you back, right before it reminds you how fragile you really are. Urgency. The world's favorite panic button. It's fascinating how people suddenly become alive when they believe they're running out of time. Give them years, and they sleep through life like lazy cats in the sun. Give them minutes, and watch how they claw at the walls, gasp for air, scramble like someone lit a fire right under their soul. Isn't that hilarious? When there's all the time in the world, nobody moves. But whisper, "You don't have much time left." And suddenly hearts start pounding like they've got purpose. Not real purpose, mind you. Panic disguised as purpose. The rush doesn't come from meaning. It comes from terror. From the idea that something is about to end, and they haven't done enough, seen enough, been enough. Humans don't chase meaning. They run from regret, terrified it will catch them first. You ever notice how urgency doesn't come from truth, but from pressure? Someone shouts, "Hurry," and nobody even asks why. They just start moving. Run first, think later. That's the dance. The world has trained you beautifully. Push a little time scarcity into your brain, and you turn into a frantic puppet. Pull the invisible strings, and those lovely little survival instincts wake up screaming. You don't pause. You don't question. You react. Urgency makes people sloppy. It steals logic right out of their pockets and leaves them shaking, panting, pretending they're focused, when really, they're just afraid of the clock strangling them. But here's the beautiful twist. Urgency isn't real. It's a trick, a whisper, a tightening around the mind, not the world. Time is moving the same pace it always does. There's no drum roll in the sky, no cosmic countdown dangling above your head. But you feel one anyway, don't you? You imagine a fuse burning, sparks racing toward some grand explosion. You create the danger in your head. You assign value to seconds. You build a cage out of imaginary deadlines and then scream when the walls close in. You become the prisoner and the warden all at once. Self-inflicted panic. Magnificent. Really look at people when they think they're about to lose something. Control, safety, stability, reputation. Suddenly they care. Suddenly every second matters. Suddenly they find energy they swore they never had. Isn't that interesting? They never lacked power. They lacked urgency. Or rather, they lacked the illusion of urgency. Because the whole time, they could have moved, could have fought, could have climbed. But no. Why rush when tomorrow exists? Why bleed effort into life when comfort is easier? Then, when they feel the floor cracking under them, they sprint. They gasp, they plead. They wake up only when they believe they're about to lose the privilege of moving at all. Urgency is a double-edged joke. On one side, it makes cowards run. On the other, it shakes people awake. It strips away excuses, exposes that beautiful human laziness, and says, "Go on then. Show who you really are." It's funny how a ticking clock turns the quiet ones into fighters and the proud ones into trembling children. Deadlines don't build character, they reveal it. Remove time and everyone pretends. Give a little pressure, and masks fall off faster than pride can grab them. You start to see who's disciplined and who's just been hoping life wouldn't demand proof. People love to say, "I'll start when I have to." Adorable, as if the universe sends polite reminders, as if life knocks kindly and waits. No, life likes to kick doors, rip rugs out from under your calm little feet, and then there you are, scrambling in chaos, swearing you'll do better if you survive the storm. But storms don't negotiate with procrastinators. Pressure doesn't reward the unprepared. Urgency only feels like torture when you've been asleep too long. Those who were awake, those who moved before the clock started screaming. They don't fear the countdown. They own it. While the others panic, they breathe. While others sprint with shaking legs, they walk with intention. They don't need seconds to scare them into motion. They create motion themselves. Funny thing, urgency feels like fear to some, but to others, it feels like ignition. It's the spark for minds too sharp to wait. The ones who realize life isn't guaranteed. Time isn't promised. Clocks don't owe you anything. Some people only live when fear forces them to. Others live because they know they don't have forever. And they don't wait for the alarm to scream before waking up. The question isn't whether the countdown is real. The question is whether you only run when you feel the floor collapsing, or whether you've learned to move while it's still solid beneath your feet pressure. Now, that is where the fun really begins. Everyone wants to believe they're strong, composed, unshakable, until life places a hand on their shoulder and presses, just a little. Suddenly the breath shortens, palms sweat, and the mind starts doing acrobatics it was never trained for. Pressure doesn't need to scream to break someone. It just whispers, tightens, asks quietly, "Are you sure you can handle this?" And the moment doubt flickers, oh, the whole mental palace starts cracking like cheap glass under a boot. See, people talk big when the room is calm. They look confident when the table is set, the lights are warm, and nothing threatens their skin. But take away their comfort, turn up the heat. Squeeze just slightly, and that's when the truth crawls out. People love the fantasy of strength more than the reality of it. They boast, they puff their chests, they say, "I can take anything." Yet the smallest tremor in their world, and suddenly they're chewing their lips, pacing floors, praying, not to gods, but to certainty, stability, predictability. Pressure is the great revealer. It strips illusions faster than a magician ripping cloth off a table. It shows whether you were truly built for storms, or whether you were just rehearsing bravery in a sunny room. Because real strength isn't loud. It doesn't pose. It doesn't bark. Strength is what keeps you breathing evenly when the world is sitting on your lungs. Strength is silent, just like panic before it erupts. Ever seen someone crumble before anything even hits them? That's pressure at its finest. No calamity yet, just the Zoar's possibility of one. And they start shaking, unraveling, exploding inside themselves, while the outside world hasn't even blinked. That's the magic. Pressure rarely needs reality. It feeds off expectation, imagination. What if? Minds don't collapse from events, they collapse from anticipation. You could tell someone the sky might fall in 20 minutes and watch them fall apart faster than any sky ever could. Pressure doesn't harm the body first. It eats the mind. It gnaws at self-trust, bites at confidence, tears at that thin layer of sanity we all pretend is welded steel, when really it's held together by fragile little emotional strings. You want to know when people show who they are, not when they win. Winning is easy. Smiling is easy. Laughing is easy when life is kissing your forehead and handing you gifts. No. Watch people when they're cornered. Watch their hands when they don't know what to do. Watch their eyes when the answer isn't obvious. That's when you see whether they think or panic, whether they breathe or break. Some collapse like paper in rain. Some scream, blame, beg, search for someone else to hold their fear. And then there are the rare ones. The ones who grin when pressure tightens. Who lean in instead of pulling back. Who feel the weight and don't shatter. They sharpen but don't misunderstand. Everyone feels pressure, even the strongest. The difference is what they do with it. Weak minds let pressure suffocate them. Strong minds turn pressure into clarity, like diamonds forged in heat. Weak minds panic because reality suddenly doesn't behave. Strong minds smirk because chaos is simply honesty without makeup. Pressure isn't your enemy. It's the most truthful mirror you'll ever stare into. It shows you whether your confidence was real or rented, whether your courage was muscle or costume, whether your calm was discipline or just a comfortable nap disguised as wisdom. You ever notice how people suddenly find excuses under pressure? It wasn't the right time. I wasn't ready. This isn't fair. Oh, how poetic. As if fairness ever signed a contract promising to appear when needed. Pressure doesn't negotiate. It doesn't ask if you slept well. It doesn't care if you're tired, scared, overwhelmed. Pressure arrives like a rude guest, kicks your door in, and sees if you stand or collapse right there on the spot. And most, they fold. Not because they lack time or talent or opportunity, but because they never train their mind to breathe under weight. See, life never asks politely, "Are you prepared?" It drops challenges on your chest and watches whether you choke or adapt. People think they hate pressure. They don't hate pressure. They hate discovering they weren't as strong as they pretended to be. Pressure doesn't ruin you, it reveals you. And that's why most fear it. Not because pressure hurts, but because pressure exposes every crack you hope no one would see. But here's the trick. Those who learn to welcome pressure, who treat it not as punishment, but as proof they're alive and in the arena, those are the ones no countdown, no news, no ticking clock can ever truly break choice. Oh, that's the real stage, isn't it? Not fate, not destiny, not some cosmic script written in glowing letters across the sky. No, no. Life doesn't whisper instructions in your ear like a friendly narrator. It throws moments at you, hands you a coin, says quietly, "Flip it, decide," and then watches with wide eyes as you tremble over something as simple and as terrifying as choosing. People romanticize fate because it gives them permission to blame someone else. It was meant to be. I had no control. Cute. Really. But the truth. The truth is far more unsettling. You choose. You always choose. Even when you think you're trapped, even when you swear life cornered you, even when the clock screams and your knees shake, you choose. And most people hate that, because choice comes with responsibility. And responsibility means you were the architect of your collapse or your rise. You know what terrifies people more than bad news? The knowledge that they must respond to it. That they can't just sit there, frozen, pretending time will make the decision for them. Time doesn't decide. It exposes. It reveals what kind of decision maker sits inside that skin you wear. Some freeze like rabbits staring at headlights, praying the world blinks first. Others panic, thrashing around, making noise instead of choices. And a rare few. They narrow their eyes, inhale slowly, and choose. Not because they're fearless, but because they understand that waiting is just surrender disguised as patience. Choice is power, but only if you accept that power burns when you hold it. There's this lovely little irony. People scream for freedom, beg for autonomy, chant about control, but hand them a moment where they must decide. And suddenly they long for chains, for orders, for a voice telling them what to do. Freedom isn't soft. It isn't romantic. True freedom is brutal, because it demands that you carry the weight of your own decisions. No scapegoats. No excuses. Just you and the consequences you crafted like a sculptor working blindfolded. And oh,